नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षु उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। We start. So we were reading chapter 13. Okay, start. There is only half side light because of the window.
अम्बाचा हतपुत्रार्थ पृथ्वी क्व गता सुहृत् अपि मयि अकृता प्राज्ञे हत बन्धु सभार्त्य असंसमाना समलं गंगायं दुःखितोपते. Translation: Where is my well-wisher, Uncle Vidura, and Mother, who is very afflicted due to all her son's demise? My uncle Dhritarashtra was also very mortified due to the death of all his sons and grandsons. Undoubtedly, I am very ungrateful. Did he therefore take my offenses very seriously and along with his wife drown himself in the Ganges? Purport. The Pandavas, especially Maharaj Yudhishthir and Arjun, anticipated the after effects of the battle of Kurukshetra, and therefore Arjuna declined to execute the fighting. The fight was executed by the will of the Lord, but the effects of the family agreement, as they had thought of it before, had come to be true. Maharaj Yudhishthir was always conscious of the great plight of his uncle Dhritarashtra and aunt Gandhari, and therefore he took all possible care of them in their old age and aggrieved conditions. When therefore he could not find his uncle and aunt in the palace, naturally his doubts arose, and he conjectured that they had gone down to the water of Ganges. He thought himself ungrateful because when the Pandavas were fatherless, Maharaj Dhritarashtra had given them all royal facilities to live, and in return he had killed Dhritarashtra's son in the battle of Kurukshetra. As a pious man, Maharaj Yudhishthir took it into account all his unavoidable misdeeds, and he never thought of the misdeeds of his uncle and company. Dhritarashtra had suffered the effects of his own misdeeds by the will of the Lord. but Maharaj Yudhishthir was thinking only of his own unavoidable misdeeds. That is the nature of good man and devotee of the Lord. A devotee never finds faults with others, but tries to find his own and thus rectifies himself them as far as possible.
So, when Yudhishthir didn't see Dhritarashtra and Gandhari and Vidura, so he got concerned and he thought, did they die? Suicide among Kshatriyas, is it common or uncommon? Common. That means common, na? Not uncommon, but not common also. A person cannot do every day only. He can do. Others? Uncommon. Why? Shudras, huh? Yeah.
Generally, in our time, they used to go to the forest, unseen, untold, and never any news used to come. They will die somewhere unknown. So, that is. So that was general thing that they will never die at home. They will die somewhere in the forest unknown to anybody. And generally they'll take that vows in between. Some I'll enter fire and this and that. So if that is considered suicidal, then sometimes they used to do that.
Okay, not that kind. What I'm not talking about yogic way of living life, living body. Not talking about that. Suicide means just giving up the body suddenly.
Because of some ego clashes or something like that. Like Duryodhana, once he decided to give up his life because he couldn't tolerate. Very few, but
So, to do suicide requires madness and requires courage. But still, a person committing suicide is called coward. Even though going up and jumping from a building is a courageous activity, right? But it's called a coward activity. That's because the person is escaping facing the circumstance or facing the world. So it's called coward. That is not ready to face or perform his duty. And that's why he's ending his life. So Kshatriyas were not prone to suicide. But Yudhishthira is thinking in that way because this was a case where they were highly distressed, afflicted, because all their sons were killed in the war, humiliated. Yudhishthira is thinking, have they committed suicide because they have forgiven me? My offense was so great that they want to give me more pain, that's why they committed suicide. It's kind of revenge against me. So Yudhishthir is taking fault on himself. He's not saying they are coward, they ran away. He's taking fault on himself. And that is nature of a person who is humble, humility. A humble person in any event thinks my fault. And that's genuine thought. And that's good way to deal with situations around us. In today's modern time, suicide is more common, even among young people. So when we deal with people, we have to understand that somebody's reaction can be this, and we have to be careful. If somebody commits suicide and you are involved before suicide talking to that person, and that was his reaction to whatever happened, it will be very tough to forgive self whole life. I know cases like that. There was a brahmachari who came in contact with a girl, and he was very, very attached. And his senior authority, counselor, cheat, whatever name you call, he ignored it. He told him, no, just chant Hare Krishna, lust will go away, don't get married, and so many other things. And he went to Vrindavan and committed suicide. And I know and I'm sure that devotee is regretting even today, after so many years. And we had another brahmachari who went from here to Mayapur and committed suicide in Mayapur temple. That also because he was attached to a Mataji. So, and there's one, even before me joining, somebody on the terrace of our Gurukul building. And sometimes he comes to Prasadam Hall, even today. And there are a few more cases. So ISKCON also has statistics. That is possible devotees, some devotees can be prone to have that response. So when we are dealing, we should understand the possibility and deal accordingly. Preventing suicide is, see, death is fixed. Suicide is a choice. Nobody can kill me till my death time has come. But I can kill myself. But that's very, very painful. Because after death you don't get gross body. And in ghostly body you suffer. And you can give trouble to others. So if somebody is prone to suicide in modern medicine, modern medical, if a patient even talks about suicide, he is immediately put under 72 hours observation. If he is suicidal, 72 hours observation, and given medicines to calm his brain, chemicals to avoid depression and all. So it has to be taken care. Suicide is never should be an option. We should give hope to others. Somebody is suicidal, we should give hope to them. That Krishna is there. Life is a gift of Krishna. Even if some failure or bad reputation has happened, it will get over. Don't worry. Right? Should give hope to Krishna. We have Junior Haridas in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He committed suicide. Even Vishnujan Maharaj, the history, those who were aware, they say in ISKCON, proper disciple, popular. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying that I didn't take care of them properly. Even though I was trying to care and feed them, but they were still unhappy with me. And I am the one who killed everybody, all their sons. So it's my fault. So in our dealings, if anything happens, and whatever the result is unexpected or unfavorable, there's nothing negative about accepting our fault, and nothing negative of accepting a fault which doesn't exist. It is purifying us. That's humility that helps us to grow. So this very attempt to prove that I am not wrong is not always necessarily required, especially with seniors. Said, okay, I am wrong, forgive me for my mistake, and I'll rectify and correct the situation and move on. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, a humble soul is like that, accepting mistake which he didn't do. And that helps to maintain relationships. So that's fine. That kind of attitude is fine. Okay? Next. Cold? Feeling cold?
When my father Pandu fell down and we were all small children, these two uncles gave us protection from all kinds of calamities. They were always our good well-wishers. Alas, where have they gone from here?
So one more thing we learn from Yudhishthira Maharaj, that even though Dhritarashtra was involved in certain negative things against Pandavas, but he was also involved in positive things in maintaining and raising them. And Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't forget that. Neither we should be. Sometimes we may have present friends who are different from previous friends. But we should not forget whole life and be grateful to those friends who helped us in certain part of our life. And even devotees, or even counselors or teachers. Sometimes devotees change counselors, or departments, or groups for XYZ reason. But that doesn't mean we are not grateful to one who taught us how to apply tilak, how to wear dhoti, brought up Krishna consciousness, answered our questions, tolerated us. Should not be. Should always be grateful. And always remember that whatever everybody has given contribution to our growth, we should be grateful for it. Okay, so Yudhishthira Maharaj is remembering how Dhritarashtra helped taking care of all the Pandavas after the death of Pandu, their father. Next.
आत्मनेश्वरम आत्मानो न प्रत्यहामि. Translation. Sud Goswami said, because of compassion and mental agitation, Sanjay, not having seen his own master, Dhritarashtra, was aggrieved and could not properly reply to Maharaj Yudhishthira.
Purport.
Sanjay was the personal assistant of Maharaj Dhritarashtra for a very long time, and thus he had the opportunity to study the life of Dhritarashtra. And when he saw at last that Dhritarashtra had left home without his knowledge, his sorrows had no bound. He was fully compassionate towards Dhritarashtra because in the game of the battle of Kurukshetra, King Dhritarashtra had lost everything, man and money, and at last the king and the queens had to leave home in utter frustration. He studied the situation in his own way because he did not know that in the inner vision of Dhritarashtra has been awakened by Vidura, and that therefore he had left home in enthusiastic cheerfulness for a better life after departure from the dark veil of home. Unless one is convinced of a better life after renunciation of the present life, one cannot stick to the renounced order of life simply by artificial dress or staying out of the home.
Yeah. I was searching for this sentence. Read it again.
Unless one is convinced of a better life after renunciation of the present life, one cannot stick to the renounced order of life simply by artificial dress or staying out of the home.
So Sanjay, he was long time secretary of Dhritarashtra. So definitely there is attachment. So in his absence he was disturbed, mentally disturbed. And he was thinking now he's old, he's blind, without servants, how will he manage without me? He's dependent. So the concerns are more. If a young boy is there, young person is there who can manage on his own, the concerns would be less. But old person and king who has always been with servants and comfortable rooms and blind, nobody to take care. He doesn't knows where to put the next step. So he's more concerned. But he didn't knew that Dhritarashtra actually was happy to live the comfortable royal life. And cheerfully he went with Vidura for obtaining the higher goal and the higher purpose of life, which is liberation. And that is only way one can sustain renunciation. Just by changing dress and address, one cannot sustain brahmachari or sannyas. Then one will end up committing offenses, breaking regulative principles, not growing, becoming stagnant, or disturbing others' spiritual growth, developing personal ambitions, and not allowing the mission to move forward. One will become an obstacle for one's spiritual growth and people around him. One will be a frustrated person, and that frustration will come out as anger and as rudeness, harshness, loneliness, depression, stealing money, and so many other things. So, we should be in touch with scriptures to remain enthusiastic. We should have very good friends in the ashram to remain enthusiastic. We should do our morning program perfect to remain enthusiastic. We should have nice prasad to remain enthusiastic. And we should have varieties of engagement to remain enthusiastic. And whatever we like in Krishna consciousness, that kind of engagement and that source we should keep in touch. So we should do that. So good friends are very much required for our stay in the ashram. So apart from our sadhana and reading, we should have good relationships among ourselves. Not create groupism or fights or competition or envy based on projects or departments or room or floor or counselor or iska, uska, that group, my party, that party. Should not do that. We can't have equal friendship with everybody, of course, but we should not have that boundaries in our heart. And we should have few close friends where we can share and laugh, where we can share our sukha and dukkha, our positive and negative, our strength and weakness, our anarthas. That this is what I am struggling with. Then we will be very, very light in our heart to solve our problems. Otherwise, we will be very, very heavy alone, struggling. Struggling alone and having a friend and struggling, there is too big difference. Grahastha ashram, there is a companion. Brahmacharya ashram, we don't want companion, but we don't want to become weak. If being alone gives us weakness, we want to become strong. Like Bharat Maharaj, he became weak by affection of a deer. We don't want that kind of weakness by affection with juniors or some congregation or some money or some project or some post or some facility or some comfort or something on mobile. Right? We have friends around and we are busy with Facebook friends. That's not a good sign. Right? So we have friends around in Brahmacharya ashram. Spend time with them. We are more busy with Facebook friends. That's not a good sign. Okay? Yes. I can't see Hemgri. Can we remove the chair? Yes, Chanudev Prabhu. Speak in the mic.
In the
Hare
beginning, Hare Krishna. In the beginning of suicide, so you said to commit suicide one needs courage. Towards the end, you said it is a cowardness because he is not able to face the real life challenges. But now, ordinarily, we see people from where they get that much courage to face the suicide attempts.
Well, the situation and their mind hypes up the pain of the situation so much that they don't want to face the pain. For example, a boy is expected to pass and he fails. And he cannot face his parents and his friends because the mind takes it too much. Or a girl and a boy break up. He can't take it because his mind has become too heavy. So the mind hypes up the situation so badly. It's all mind game. Okay, I'm sorry. It's from Hyderabad. So the mind hypes up so badly that the person cannot take a right decision. So what is actually happening is the three modes, especially passion and ignorance, they are influencing rapidly and interchangeably. Every few seconds, from passion to ignorance, from ignorance to passion is happening. When the modes are very fast changing, a person cannot take a decision, appropriate decision. So he commits suicide. A depression person who is feels there's no hope, there's no solution to this. I cannot come out of this situation. There will be very large pain. There are many reasons. It's a very, very pathetic situation.
So generally, we see somebody who is addiction, who have drug addiction or alcohol addiction. So they have that addiction. In that addiction, they go high. You said mind spice. Mind takes him
Hype.
hype.
Yeah.
So in the addiction also, they feel, right? When they are in drugs, they feel high. So
That is different. When under the drugs, the intelligence doesn't work. So even those who are addicted, they are also prone to suicide, especially when they become weak and they don't get further drugs. So when they come down, they are prone to suicide.
but definitely they require some courage, right? To
Yes, so it's a false courage. It's a false courage because they don't feel that they can face the situation. It's a false courage. But okay, let me end the life, sab dukh khatam ho jayega. My all miseries will be ended when my life is ended.
Yes.
So that's a false thing. You want more chairs? Take chairs.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, bro.
Next. Yeah, take the mic.
So one about Arjuna, we hear one thing that even after hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna got moha for his childrens. He cried. Here Sanjay also, he also heard Bhagavad Gita, and towards the end of the 18th chapter, he says, Romaharshan, Adbhutam Romaharsh. But still he has such attachment with Dhritarashtra. So how we see that?
So, after hearing Bhagavad Gita and realizing the knowledge, you don't become stone. My son dies and I don't cry, that is not symptom of a self-realized soul. A symptom of a stone. So sadhu is not a stone. He also has emotions, he also has feelings. So when Abhimanyu dies, Arjuna cries, it's natural affection. Right? It is a very big misconception that after hearing Bhagavad Gita and spiritual life, I should become stone, no feelings, no emotions, jo ho raha hai, chalne do. No. Even after hearing Bhagavad Gita, you can feel pain. Does Krishna feel pain?
Yes, he feels.
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that weakness?
So when we say
No, wait, now I am still answering. So, feeling pain is weakness? Right? So, Krishna feels pain when, as Varaha Avatar, he lifted Mother Earth and carried to the surface of the water. Hiranyaksha ran behind him. Hiranyaksha abused him. One of the abuse word he used is Vanagochara. Vanagochara means jungly. Hey jungly, he told Vara. Hey jungly, forest dweller. And it is written, Vara Avatar felt pain that he is abusing me. But still he performed his duty of taking care of earth. Then after keeping the earth on the surface of water and making it float, he took a reverse turn. Then he responded to him. He said, yes, I am Managochara. I have come to jungle to kill dogs like you. So Krishna feels pain, devotees feel pain. So Sthita Prajna is different from stone. So you feel pain and you tolerate, you don't get disturbed and you perform your duty, but not become stone. If an unknown person stays with you in the room for few months, however pure devotee you are, you will develop some affection for that person. If he's sick, you will ask him, hey, how are you? Did you take medicines? Either you will ask him customary or you will ask him with some percentage of affection. But you will ask, right? So what to speak about one's own son dying? And what to speak about Sanjay who is serving Dhritarashtra for so long? So it's natural tendency. Natural affection. People get affection to dogs. Right? Yeah.
So Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya heard because of mercy of Vasudev,
Yeah.
and he felt that great jubilation of hearing Bhagavad Gita. So Dhritarashtra also heard whole Bhagavad Gita, but that time he didn't got any realizations or renunciation.
Because Dhritarashtra's intelligence was clouded. It required more than one hearing. So his intelligence was clouded. See, if you have a grass and you put it in fire, if it is dry, it will burn immediately. If it is wet, it will require more time spent in fire, then it will burn. So some people hear Bhagavad Gita, they immediately catch fire. Some have to hear few more. Then they will catch fire. Because they are wet with passion and ignorance. So Dhritarashtra heard, but he was very attached to the kingdom and his sons. So that was wetness. And that has to become dry. So Vidura came and saw he is already dry now. The kingdom is almost gone. And the sons are died. So he burnt him.
Even hearing from pure devotee also will have, depends on our wet and dry condition.
Well, just like as I told, if the grass is dry and it comes in contact with fire, it will burn in 1 second. If the grass is wet and it comes in contact with fire, it will burn after 10 minutes. But during this 10 minutes, the fire acted equally on both. The fire made the wet grass dry. And then when it became dry, it caught fire. Right?
Thank you.
So the effect is same. The fire is not reducing the effect. It's wetness which is becoming dry. So fire's effect is still there. It's not catching fire because it's wet. Okay? Next.
विमृज्यास्त्रूणि पाणिभ्यां विष्टभ्यात्मान्मात्मना अजातशत्रुं प्रत्युचे प्रभो पादानुमस्मरन्. Translation. First he slowly pacified his mind by intelligence and wiping away his tears and thinking of the feet of his master Dhritarashtra. He began to reply to Maharaj Yudhishthira.
Yeah, next.
Sanjay Uvacha Jnanam Veda Vyashitam Pitro Varahakutanandana Gandharva Va Mahabaho Moshitoshme Mahatmabhi. Sanjay said, "My dear descendants of the Kuru dynasty, I have no information of the determination of your two uncles and Gandhari. O king, I have been cheated by those great souls." Purport. That great souls cheat others may be astonishing to know, but it is a fact that great souls cheat others for the great cause. It is said that Lord Krishna also advised Yudhishthira to tell a lie before Dronacharya, and it was also for the great cause. The Lord wanted it, and therefore it was a great cause. Satisfaction of the Lord is the criteria of one who is bona fide, and the highest perfection of life is to satisfy the Lord by one's occupational duty. That is the verdict of Gita and Bhagavatam. Dhritarashtra and Vidur, followed by Gandhari, did not disclose their determination to Sanjay, although he was constantly with Dhritarashtra as his personal assistant. Sanjay never thought that Dhritarashtra could perform any act without consulting him, but Dhritarashtra going away from home was so confidential that it could not be disclosed even to Sanjay. Sanatan Goswami also cheated the keeper of the prison house while going away to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And similarly, Raghunath Das Goswami also cheated his priest and left home for good to satisfy the Lord. To satisfy the Lord, anything is good, for it is in relation with the absolute truth. We also had the same opportunity to cheat the family members and leave home to engage in the service of Srimad Bhagavatam. Such cheating was necessary for the great cause, and there is no loss for any party in such transcendental fraud.
So this is not a license. This is just for information that this is possible. But we should follow proper ethical code of conduct while we are doing our services. Okay? Yes, Aditya Ram Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Sanjay is having the best of the spiritual master Vyasdev, and he has served some service authority Dhritarashtra, and he is so much attached that he is remembering his lotus feet rather than remembering the lotus feet of Vyasdev, and he should have dedicated his life in the service of Vyasdev. So what is the lesson that we can derive from this?
So in Varnashram, said there is spiritual and social. So this is his social occupation. He is secretary of Dhritarashtra. And a servant of a Kshatriya, he should have loyalty, dedication and love for his master. Then only he can do service. It is not just employer-employee, pay me once a month kind of relationship. So nothing wrong about it. And this is being expressed only at the time of an event. Otherwise he is dedicated servant and serving the Lord, Vyasdev, Lord Shri Krishna, following the instructions. But the dejection is, as I told, he is not a stone. A devotee is not a stone, so some dejection is there. Nowadays we don't find such relationships. That's why we feel this is inappropriate. But it's not inappropriate. A devotee should have compassion for everybody, and why not towards one's master in the Varnashram? Right? So you can cry because of attachment, you can cry because of loss, you can cry because of affection, you can cry because of compassion. Right? So there's compassion ki andha buddha kidhar gaya? Right? So there's compassion also. And in Varnashram, when you perform your duty, you become perfect. You please Krishna. So when a Vaishya does his business of cow protection, he pleases Krishna. When a Kshatriya does his administration and goes for a proper war, protecting the subjects, he pleases Krishna. When a Brahmana is doing fire sacrifice and reading Vedas, he is pleasing Krishna. And when a Shudra honestly serves his master, he is pleasing Krishna. So by following Varnashram Dharma also you become perfect and please Krishna. Because Krishna has told. So when a mother takes care of the child, she is pleasing Krishna. She is doing bhakti. Because she is following the instruction of Krishna that mother should take care of the child. So whether she takes care with love or without love, she is pleasing Krishna. If she has affection, which she has naturally, it becomes easier. Right? So in Varnashram, doing your duty is also pleasing Krishna. 18th chapter, there is a verse like that in Bhagavad Gita. You become perfect by that. Okay?
So Prabhuji, in our case, as I asked, that we take initiation from great spiritual masters, and so, we are serving under some authority, and in case the authority or the counselor is very biased, and he teaches him politics and so many things which he should not teach, it will affect his pure devotional service of the student. So in that case, the student should go under some other good teacher, like some senior devotee, other senior devotee, or he should be just following his master, like Sanjay did to Dhritarashtra.
No, so this relationship is not permanent for whole life. So there are various options. One is there can be a frank talk and feedback that I am happy with these things, but this thing I am not preferring. So I request for a change of agenda, that I don't want to get involved in this way. And if the devotee understands, it's nice. But before that, we should be very, very sure. We should not judge. We should be very, very sure. And when we are sure, we can have a talk, frank talk, that I am not comfortable with this kind of dealing. I am happy to continue my service under you, but this I don't prefer. If it is not working out, one can change also. Or one can seek help also. But if you are searching for a perfect person, all the best. You will always get some kind of imperfection. So you have to maturely deal with it. And some things you may have to ignore. So it's not easy to get a perfect person. Everybody who has come to ISKCON has come to become perfect. And there are different stages of perfect and competency. So somebody is engaging me in Krishna service, I should be grateful. But yeah, it always happens. We can change service authorities. That's okay. As much as they are transparent, they are representing our spiritual master and Krishna and Prabhupada. If they are having their own ambitions, they are not representing completely. And we can change. That anyway happens. It's allowed in ISKCON to change. We have seen it's everyday experience. So that's fine. We should be growing in Krishna consciousness. If we are growing, that's fine. Okay? So ISKCON gives that space. Okay? Even Srila Prabhupada's time, disciples went from one temple to another temple because they were not comfortable with the temple president. And Prabhupada allowed that. Right? Even the temple president rejected some GBCs and Prabhupada changed the GBC. Seeing the temple president is sincerely serving, he changed the GBC, you go somewhere else. So, Prabhupada allowed that. So our spiritual growth is most important. If you are not growing, then what is the meaning of maintaining that relationship? Right? If you are on a boat and the boat is not going to help you cross the ocean and drown, you have to repair the boat or change the boat. You can't say, no, I joined the boat, my boat. No, there's a hole in the boat now. So either repair it or change it. Don't be attached to the boat. Be attached to the goal of crossing the ocean. Right? Okay? Yes.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhuji, although Sanjay is a good person, he is following Varnashram Dharma, and by this process he will definitely please the Lord, Varnashram. But then he is trying to serve, he is serving ill-motivated Dhritarashtra. So what will be the destination of such a person who is serving?
No, there's nothing wrong. Even if there is some fault in our occupation, by performing the occupation honestly and doing our sadhana, we get purified of that fault. That's Bhagavad Gita. Two verses are there. Right? Two verses are there. Even there is fault in Varnashram ashram, in the Varna, still one should perform his Varna. So Shudra has to sometimes serve a bad master. A Vaishya has to sometimes speak lies. A Kshatriya has to do sometimes violence. And a Brahmana has to sometimes cut animals. So all these are faults. But one should still continue his duty. So you are a bad master, still you continue your duty. You get purified. Right? And here let's not judge Dhritarashtra. He's playing a role. Let's not judge him. He's liberated now. Okay? Yes, Madhav Sundar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the translation, Sanjay is saying that I have been cheated by those great souls. Means, what does it mean that he was knowing that they were going to forest or?
He was not knowing. They went without informing him. So that's cheating. That he considers cheating. Without informing and going is cheating. That's what he considers. Sundar Chaitanya Prabhu.
he was not missing alone, he was missing with Vidura. So it is like almost sure that he has gone with Vidura. So it's like they must be like kind of have some understanding that Vidura has taken them, so they must have gone for some spiritual journey only.
No, even otherwise, a old king, kind of king, blind, goes away night without telling anybody. What can be at those 5,000 years before? Kings would not go like this. They would go in a chariot, the servants would know, the guards would know, the soldiers would know. So kings were used to going dead night where? To the forest only. Right? And definitely Vidura's presence and Vidura's instruction to Dhritarashtra that you leave now, everybody heard those instructions. So they know what is the transformation happening in the heart of Dhritarashtra by Dhritarashtra's presence, body language. So it's for a predictable event also. Right? You getting me? So when Vidura spoke, everybody was present. And he spoke, you leave now. Right? You getting me? So, and he left at night, so everybody could understand this is possibility. Okay? Yes, Radhakrishna.
Like Sanjay, he's not belonging to Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya family. He's a Shudra community. So how is possible he became a disciple of Vyasadeva? Because those time only Kshatriya and all this, they become disciple of...
Those time only?
Only this Gurukul system for the Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Brahmanas, not for Shudras.
No. This disciple is saying because there's a spiritual relationship. What you're saying, Gurukul, is more of education, mixed education, spiritual as well as Kshatriya education, arms and all. You're referring to Dronacharya not accepting Karna. That was for arms. But this was spiritual education, where by the mercy of Vyasadeva, Sanjay heard Bhagavad Gita. Right? So that's okay. Gopal. Mike.
Prabhuji, why is it that people were going to forests, etc., like in the case of Dhritarashtra? Because where we find actually in forest there is no association. Whereas instead of that, one could select a place where there is association, like we have this ISKCON temple now present in Kali Yuga. So maybe that time also there may be some association of people where they could come along and they could perform devotional service.
Yeah, ISKCON was not there. No, so forest, there were Rishi Munis staying, there were ashrams in the forest. They would stay away from the city.
Okay, but they were not practicing alone.
Not necessary. They will stay in nearby some ashram and build their own ashram in the vicinity of another ashram. Spiritual life alone is better in terms of no prajalpa. But there will be many ashrams in vicinity of each other. There is not much congregation. They just practice Ashtanga Yoga. So forest, many Rishi Munis would stay. They would not like to stay in the city because mode of passion. Forest is mode of goodness. So Himalayas, even now if you go Himalayas, many would you find staying there. So what to speak about 5,000 years before? There were people staying in Himalayas at that time also. Forest is basically no city life, no comfort, no convenience, depend on nature, drink and bathe in river 3 times, take fruits of the tree and roots, and completely absorbed in Krishna. That's good life. Like Talasari. And mostly forest would be Vrindavan forest, like Dhruva Maharaj went. Only devotees. That's okay. A good practice, good part of practice, Ashtanga Yoga is alone doing alone, meditating. How you can have somebody and meditating? It will be distraction. Right? We are weak, we need association. At the time people were able to meditate alone. With somebody you meditate, definitely there will be distraction. Hua kya nahi hua? जाना है प्रसाद के लिए क्या नहीं? कल मैंगो अच्छा था, right? Unnecessary distraction. Okay?
Yeah, Prabhu, one more question. Like you mentioned that there are circumstances where brahmanas have to kill animals. Can you describe when?
Yagya. In fire sacrifice, Ashwamedh fire sacrifice, a horse is killed. Okay? Not now, earlier. Who? Yeah. Others also heard. Yes, Harinarayan.
Kurumababu asked this question where Sanjay was serving Dhritarashtra. So you told because there may be faults in some occupational duty, but when we are doing sadhana and it will be rectified. Now, selecting the occupational duty depends on us. Like some can be a lawyer and he can be a doctor also. But while being a lawyer, he says all wrong things and earn money. Surely we'll get reactions. We can't say that he won't get reactions.
See, Varna is not by choice, it's by guna and karma. It's not that you choose, I will be this. No, whatever your nature is, you perform that. Then only you can be a good performer and a satisfied performer. So now everybody is Shudra or lower. But Varna is not just by choice, it's by guna and karma. So today, if somebody is a lawyer or a doctor, so there are rules and regulations in each varna, in each occupation. So if it's unethical, he will get reaction. So there are inherent faults, unavoidable inherent faults. That is what I was talking about. There are unavoidable inherent faults. But somebody chooses to do mistakes and illegal activities and dishonest dealings, he will definitely incur sinful activity. Okay? But Varna is not by choice. Yes. Next.
विवाद्याः सानुजो अभय मुनिम. While Sanjay was thus speaking, Sri Narad, the powerful devotee of the Lord, appeared on the scene, carrying his tumburu. Maharaj Yudhishthir and his younger brother received him properly by getting up from their seats and offering obeisances. Yudhishthir then spoke as follows.
Wait. Which translation you are reading? Yudhishthir then spoke as follows. Is there in the book? Is there in the folio?
Yeah.
Okay, send me a screenshot. Okay, next verse. Which folio version you have?
Updated 2019.
Next verse. The purport is simple about receiving pure devotees and devotees among our assembly. So we follow that. Especially any guest comes to the temple, we give them a garland, welcome them, senior devotees, give them an asana. We stand if you are on a chair, like that, in our assembly. Yeah. Next.
Maharaj Yudhishthir said, O godly personality, I do not know where my two uncles have gone, nor can I find my strict aunt who is grief-stricken by the loss of all her sons. Maharaj Yudhishthir as a good soul.
Wait. So somebody who is in distress and we are responsible, we should be always alert to that distress. so that we deal with that person, not to make us or that person weak, but that gives hope to the person that somebody is taking care of me. Especially among devotees, you find somebody in distress, we should give some hope and consolation. Okay? Next verse.
You are like a captain of ship in a great ocean, and you can direct us to our destination. Thus addressed the godly personality, Devarsi Narad, greatest of philosopher devotee, began to speak.
So if you have a good ship but no captain, you cannot reach your destination. So this human form is called ship, which can cross over the material ocean, material existence. But without captain, it's not possible, and that's the spiritual master, and that's the sadhus to guide us. So Narad Muni is such captain. Purport.
There are different type of philosophers, and the greatest of all of them are those who have seen the personality of Godhead and have surrendered themselves in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Among all such a pure devotees of the Lord, Devarsi Narad is the chief, and therefore he has been described herein as the greatest of all philosopher devotees. Unless one has become a sufficiently learned philosopher by hearing the Vedanta philosophy from a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot be learned philosopher devotee. One must be very faithful, learned and renounced, otherwise one cannot be pure devotee. A pure devotee of the Lord can give us direction towards the other end of nescience. Devarsi Narad used to visit the palace of Maharaj Yudhishthir because the Pandavas were all pure devotees of the Lord. And the Devarsi was always ready to give them good counsel whenever needed.
Next.
यस्य मे वहन्ति बलिमीशितो स युक्नक्ति भूतानि स एव विनक्ति च. Sri Narad said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore all living beings and their leaders carry on worship to be well protected. It is He only who brings them together and disperses them.
So to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj and the company, Narad Muni started speaking, and the first important item he spoke is that everything is arranged by Krishna, and he is your well-wisher. So don't worry. If he has arranged something, it's good for you. And we who are staying with Radha Ras Bihari, whatever happens with us is by the sanction of Radha Ras Bihari, and it happens with us because he is arranging it for good for us, for our spiritual growth. Just like in a hospital, a doctor may give various instructions for us or various patients. He may say to the junior doctor, give him only liquid and give him solid food and give him semi-solid. And we may say, look, this doctor is partial. To him he is giving solid, to me he is giving liquid. No, the doctor is treating you. So he's giving different instructions. So in the same way, Radha Ras Bihari, like a doctor, is giving us different experiences right in the temple for our spiritual growth. That is his prescription. So whatever happens with me is Krishna's mercy on me. He is arranging for me, for my spiritual growth. And we should be happily accepting it, rather than unnecessarily wasting our energy to struggle against it. Our energy should be used in serving Radha Ras Bihari, rather than struggling what is happening around us. So Narad Muni is making that statement, that everything is arranged by Krishna, and he is your well-wisher. So that calms the person that, okay, Krishna arranged this. Okay? Next. Not next, purport.
Every living being, either in this material world or in the spiritual world, is under the control of the Supreme Lord. The personality of Godhead Beginning from Brahmaji, the leader of this universe, down to the insignificant ant, all are abiding by the order of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the constitutional position of the living being is subordination under the control of the Lord. The foolish living being, especially man, artificially rebels against the law of the Supreme and thus becomes chastised as an asura or lawbreaker. A living being is placed in a particular position by the order of the Supreme Lord, and he is again shifted from that place by the order of the Supreme Lord or his authorized agents. Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Maharaj Yudhishthir, or in modern history, Napoleon, Akbar, Alexander, Gandhi, Subhash, and Nehru, all are servants of the Lord, and they are placed in and removed from their respective positions by the supreme will of the Lord. None of them is independent. Even though such men or leaders rebel so as not to recognize the supremacy of the Lord, they are put under still more rigorous laws of the material world by different miseries. Only the foolish man therefore says that there is no God. Maharaj Yudhishthir was being convinced of this naked truth because he was greatly overwhelmed by the sudden departure of his old uncles and aunt. Maharaj Dhritarashtra was placed in that position according to his past deeds. He had already suffered or enjoyed the benefits accrued to him in the past. But due to his good luck, somehow or other, he had a good younger brother, Vidura. And by his instruction, he lived to achieve salvation by closing all accounts in the material world. Ordinarily, one cannot change the course of one's due happiness and distress by plan. Everyone has to accept them as they come under the subtle arrangement of Kala or invincible time. There is no use trying to counteract them. The best thing is therefore that one should endeavor to achieve salvation, and this prerogative is given only to man because of his developed condition of mental activities and intelligence. Only for man are there different Vedic instructions for attainment of salvation during the human form of existence. One who misuses this opportunity of advanced intelligence is verily condemned and put into different types of miseries, either in this present life or in the future. That is the way the Supreme controls everyone.
So without sanction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, not even a blade of grass moves. Everything is under his control. And he controls through, that we'll see in the next verse, Vedic injunctions and laws of nature. Next.
As a cow, bound through the nose by a long rope, is conditioned, so also human beings are bound by different Vedic injunctions and are conditioned to obey the orders of the Supreme.
So the conditioned soul thinks he is free, but he is not free. Just like if I want to go from here to Chroma, actually it's just opposite. But I can't go. I'll have to use the road. So I'm not free to travel. I have to follow the road which government has made. So I'm thinking I'm independent in my travel, but actually I have to follow a path which somebody else has decided. I can't choose my path. Or I have to, even if I have a choice, it will be among two paths. And both are paths made by somebody else. So in the same way, the modes of material nature as well as Krishna, they have made some paths and we have to follow them. We can't change. At night they made a path of sleeping and we have to sleep helplessly. We cannot be awake at night. So cow is bound by rope and there is some freedom, but within that circle the cow has to keep moving. So within the circle of laws of nature and Vedic injunctions, whatever there are, we have to keep moving. So we are not independent. It's a false, it's illusion to think we are independent. So those who try to be independent of laws of nature and create their own laws, they fall more further into miseries because Krishna's laws are perfect Man's laws are imperfect. Okay, we read next verse. Yeah.
No, just to clarify this more, I want to ask that this Vedic injunctions, sometimes we are said like you should be following Vedic rules and Vedic scriptures. Now here it is written, a human being is bound to follow the Vedic injunction. That is, he has no other choice as if. So how to understand this? Sometimes we are instructed, don't do sinful activities, rather follow Vedic instructions, injunctions like that.
So when the human society doesn't follow Vedic injunction, they are punished. So that's miserable. They get pain. So when you don't follow, you are punished. So doesn't it mean that you are bound to follow? Right? You're getting me? Suppose we say if you don't come for this class, you'll have to pay money. Then you're bound to come to the class because nobody wants to pay money or nobody wants to take pain. Right? And many things in Vedic scriptures, ordinary human society follows, like a father. Once you give birth to a child, you have to protect the child. You can't abandon the child on the street. Once you marry, you have to be with your wife. Right? So these are Vedic injunctions. These are not Indian constitution. No Indian constitution says that you have to be with your wife and you have to take care of your child and you have to earn for the child and send him to good school. These are moral laws, Vedic laws. They are trying to make a constitution, imperfect constitution for family duties. But otherwise it's moral laws, right? It's Vedic injunction. Vedic injunction says a man after giving birth to a child should take care of the child. There is no law saying that mother should feed milk to the baby. It's a Vedic injunction that mother should protect the baby. So to follow Vedic injunctions, we are bound by that. Okay? Otherwise it will be animal society. Animals are not bound by Vedic injunctions. Like if you drive car, you are bound by traffic laws. Red light you have to stop, green light you have to move, no entry board you cannot drive. Right? You're bound by traffic laws when you're driving car. Right? You're bound to follow. Same thing. Okay? Yes, Chaitanya. Mike.
Accepting the plan of the Lord. So, how do we exactly understand this? Like, in the sense, say for example, we are going on a yatra and somehow the train got missed. So do we accept it as plan of Lord? Like, I didn't understand how do we...
Well, yes and no. See, the whole material world is plan of the Lord. Now details what happened with us, they are part of our karma, our previous karma, our present karma, the factor of time, and so many permutations and combinations, events happen, our foolishness, traffic. So many reasons you may miss the train. The happiness and distress is given to us by our karma as per plan of the Lord. After missing train, you are happy and distressed. That's what is in your destiny. Somebody may be happy, good, missed train, I'll go home and sleep. Somebody may be distressed, oh God, money wasted, now I have to catch another train. So happiness and distress is what is in our destiny. So, for a devotee, he puts his endeavor to perform his duty and service, and whatever is the result, he accepts it as plan of the Lord. So if it is success or failure, he accepts the plan of the Lord. I was in Canberra, Australia, going to Sydney. So when I was about to catch the flight, my bag broke. And it is -2 degrees It's not easy to solve such problems there. So we had to go to a stationery shop and take some belts and tie the bag. And so the devotee was driving me. He became in very anxiety that Prabhu, you will miss the flight. Very big anxiety. And I told him, why you are in anxiety? If I catch the flight tomorrow morning, I'll give Bhagavatam class in ISKCON Sydney. If I don't catch the flight tomorrow morning, I'll give class in ISKCON Canberra. For me, there is no difference only. Right? So why you are in anxiety? I have to just give Bhagavatam class tomorrow, either here, this temple or that temple. For me, there's both same Mangal Aarti, same, right? Everything same. There's no anxiety only. So we should accept whatever happens, Krishna's will. Krishna plays with us like football, and we should enjoy that game. Not be worried about ye kya hoga, uska kya hoga. Arey, enjoy life. When you are in a war where you have nothing to lose, you will 100% win. Huh? Krishna, from pocket of one person, it go into another person, then from another person it will go to third person. In the earth planet, money will remain. People will die. Okay, don't think that way. Right? So it's like that. For a non-earning person, money also is not a big attachment. It came from somewhere, it will go somewhere. Like that. $50, don't worry. Domestic flight. Cheap flight. Yeah, so in general, we should just be happy. A child in mother's lap, whatever is plan of mother, child enjoys. Because mother is not going to harm the child. Right? So mother puts bindi to the child and puts some pant shirt or frock. Girl child, she will put boy dress. Boy child, she will put girl ornaments. Child is happy. When he grows up, I am a girl, I am a boy, and all this problem starts. Small child, everything. Whatever mother does is okay, good. Enjoying. Mother feeds, mother washes. So Krishna is our father and mother, and we are in his lap. Enjoy life. Don't grow up with your ego that I am this, I am that, this is my, this is that. As soon as my and I comes, then all this problem comes. My train, my yatra, my choice, my schedule. So all this comes. Should not be worried at all. Just be on Krishna's lap and play. He is playing, we also play. Then only joy in the game. Right? So this material world, nothing serious. Everything is a joke. So laugh it out. If you take it seriously, you'll unnecessarily cry. And when you cry, others will laugh. And after a few days, you will laugh that I cried. It was not worth crying. Right? So very, that's liberation. Brahma Bhuta Prasannat, Manna Sochati Na Kanchati. Whatever happens, no problem with me. Krishna, Asliya Seva Padarata. Whatever you do with me is okay. I am okay. You feed me, you don't feed me, you do this, okay, I am okay. I just serve you. You play with me. So Krishna is nice well-wisher. He will not harm us. He has love of millions of mothers together. So he will not harm us. Just depend on him. Just play in his lap. Okay? Yes, Madhav Sundar.
Prabhuji, in this question only, many times it happens that the balance word, we are not getting that. So here you are explaining that be dependent on Krishna. But there is another thing is that being responsible also. So
yeah, so when we are performing our duty, we do it responsibly, and the result we depend on Krishna. Result is not in our hands, but our duty we have to perform responsibly. And what happens after the duty, that depends on Krishna. So if you are going for book distribution, You do your duty. You load the books, put the fuel, take the team, drive, arrive, talk to people. Do your duty. How many books go? Krishna's will give the result. Right? You knock the door, your duty. Whether he opens the door, it's result. That's up to him. Right? So we do our duty responsibly and we depend on Krishna for the result. Krishna tells Arjuna, what is that verse? No. Do your karma, do your duty, the results are not yours. So you take the seed, you put it in the garden, you put mud, you put water, the plant will come, you put more water, sun will shine, it will become a tree. Few years it will be a mango, it will become ripe, you climb the tree, you cut the mango, take the mango, take it down, wash it, cut it, put it in a plate, but don't eat it. Krishna will eat that mango. So you do your duty, he takes the fruit. And he's so merciful, he says, Mahaprasad, Madhav Sundar have mango Mahaprasad. So he give you 1 piece, 2 piece, all piece. And you distribute. And honor. So we do our duty and depend on Krishna for result. We should not be irresponsible, we should not be lazy, we should not weaken our intelligence, that Krishna will take care, I don't have to do. No, we do our best with Krishna's given intelligence, skill, talent, resources. And he gives the result. Okay? So you go to Prasadam hall, he gives you prasad. You don't create that prasad. You don't earn that prasad. You don't bring that raw material. You don't cook that food. You don't decide the menu. Your duty is to walk to Prasadam hall morning 9 o'clock. And he gives. And you honor. Then your duty is to use that prasadam as an energy to do service. Then he gives result. That's spiritual growth. Or whatever measurable result. Right? So we do our duty. Okay?
While performing the duty also, we face in gathering the ingredients, and we face challenges. And sometimes we get, sometimes we don't get. In devotee circle though, we have always reminder of Krishna. It is some devotee goes to purchase vegetables and gets it. So if he doesn't get items, so should we consider, oh, it is a plan of Krishna?
Yes.
Stop it there.
It was not your duty. It was somebody else's duty. And you didn't get the result. It's Krishna's plan.
So in the devotee circles, this is a consciousness we easily catch up with. But when a non-devotee are practicing job, working outside and same time chanting Hare Krishna. So for such person, the duties maintaining family will become completely non-Krishna conscious activities. So there are
on how much is dependent on Krishna. He cannot just have an overnight change of dependence. Whatever stage of dependence he is in, accordingly he should perform and think. Like Sudama, he would go to few houses and beg. If he gets, fine. If he doesn't get, fine. And Krishna was okay with that.
Wife?
Huh?
Sudama's wife.
Good wife.
No, here the family who are not completely Krishna conscious, practitioners.
So what to do? Then they will struggle.
So in that case, they give 80% of time for their social responsibilities and very 20% for Krishna.
No, so why you are worried? You are in devotee circle. So you tell them to join our classes. They have to increase their dependence on Krishna to be able to understand this. Unless you are If you have very low dependence on Krishna, we cannot just convince them that everything is plan of Krishna. They will have tough time. Right? So it depends on their dependence on Krishna. All the statements of Bhagavatam are not applicable to all the individuals equally. Those who have high dependence, they can take such statements. Those who have low dependence, they struggle with such statements. So we preach to them according to their dependence. So we tell them, you perform your duty in such a way that you have honest income, and you chant your rounds and come to temple weekly.
This Karmanyavadhikarasya shloka becomes very difficult for them to understand also.
Why not? We tell them, you perform your duty. As a father, you do your earning and give the result to Krishna. So whatever you earn, part of that income, you give to Krishna. Whatever you cook in the house, you feed to the deities, and then everybody has prasadam.
Food is okay, it remains. But when it comes to...
So income, part of income we are telling. So if we can't do 50%, we start with 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%. And gradually as they grow in Krishna consciousness, they do more. So when you are preaching, you start from lower step, not directly higher step. Right? So we start from lower step, what they are comfortable with, and gradually cultivate them to grow and give more to Krishna and give everything to Krishna. So it's a cultivation. Those who preach to you did the first day tell you come shave and join, then you would have not continued in general. Right? Gradually, right? It's like that. So gradually we cultivate. So the preaching means, growth means the faith has to increase and dependence has to increase. Not just number of years or the length of shikha. So faith and dependence has to increase. So we help them to increase the faith and dependence.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Another thing, one thing you mentioned before that we should have a trusted relationships, at least one, two members with whom we can share our love and confidential things. In the same continuation of our discussion, you also mentioned being alone is good for bhakti or yoga.
Ashtanga yoga.
Bhakti also it is.
No, we are dependent on association.
Thank you.
But sometimes it's good to have a quiet time. Right? See, being alone and being only alone, there's a difference. Sometimes good to have a quiet time, silently sit and read. But we are dependent on association of devotees. Without that, we will not grow. Right? And Dhritarashtra was not alone. Gandhari went. Vidura went. Vidura went. They all were together. Right?
Vidura was also there with them?
Yeah, after they both entered fire, then Vidura said, okay, yeah, bye-bye. And Vidura went further to preach to somebody else. Okay? Yes, I agree, Prabhu.
So, Prabhuji, we hear that in our life, 6 things are fixed, like labh, hani, man, apaman, and what we'll earn and what we'll expand like that. And Prahlad Maharaj also said, like, we will obtain happiness without endeavor, just like distress. So, like, how to understand if everything is like fixed. So, literally, if somebody will not do whatever he will do, so we'll obtain all these things, or we say we have to make some endeavor.
So the endeavor is not giving the result. Result is fixed. Endeavor is making us reach the result. Like when you go to Prasadam Hall, you're not, by going to Prasadam Hall, you're not getting food. Food is anyway there. Your going is not creating prasad. Your going is just taking your share. So labh, hani, profit, loss, money, happiness, distress is prasad. Your effort is just taking your share, not creating food, not creating prasad. Suppose my father puts money in my bank account and I go to ATM machine and withdraw that money. So by me going to ATM machine, walking, putting the card, punching the number, that is not creating money. Just withdrawing what my father has put. So what Krishna has put in your account, you are just withdrawing by your effort. You are not creating that result. There is no relationship between your effort and the result. Because you are going to ATM machine, that's why there is money? No. Because your father put, that's why there is money. What you are doing, you are just withdrawing it. Why he put? Because he loves you. He didn't put because you are walking to ATM machine. Right?
So, Prabhuji, like sometime somebody work hard and he achieves something. Like somebody is preparing for some exam, competition exam. He studied very nicely and he cracked that exam. So it seems by studying very hard, like for so many hours, 15 hours, 16 hours, he cracked that exam. So that is just.
So that is one part of karma, one factor to withdraw. But there is some sanction because of which he could get success. Suppose you supply cement, sand, bricks, water to a laborer and he creates a house. Whom does the house belong to? Who is the owner? Why? He did hard work, na? 15 hours per day. Right? He did hard work 15 hours per day. No, so there's a labor activity, but the one who supplies raw material, he is the owner of the final result. So when somebody studies for 15 hours, he was given eyes, ears, intelligence, sun, oxygen, earth, fire. By whom? So the result belongs to whom? Right? He cannot say, I take credit of this result. The raw material given by you, just do labor job. So because you worked overtime 15 hours, you got little more payment. Right? So the result is given by Krishna. Without his sanction, we don't get anything. Otherwise every donkey will become, right? The memory. You studied hard, but who made you remember at the time of exam? Right? And the destiny. So many reasons. Many factors are there. Okay? There are 5 doers. Yes, Gopal.
Prabhuji, in this, Dhritarashtra entering and Gandhari entering fire, so it is as good as taking one's life. So in what cases was it sanctioned?
Yogis would get that opportunity to live life, to give up their life at a particular time when they are ready and go to higher planets. So just like in fire sacrifice, the Brahmana, the priest, kills an animal and he gets promoted. So here you are giving your ahuti and you're getting promoted. So that's not allowed in ISKCON too.
No, but here I just wanted to confirm it was not according to young age or old age, but like it was according to sanction of one's own, because it could be as good as taking one's life.
No, you are purified enough to go to a higher planet or liberated. Now, see, you are doing sadhana and your time has come. That now you are ready to transfer yourself. Then why to stay here? When you are ready to transfer yourself, why to stay here?
Okay, is it they have developed that much consciousness?
Yes.
Otherwise, they are not.
Yes. By the practice of yoga, they have developed that kind of stage. That now they can get promoted, the soul can go. Soul can go to moon. Okay? Higher planet.
By such fire sacrifice that was allowed that time.
Not fire sacrifice, yoga.
By this yoga, by lighting the fire, etc.
The fire lightning was by the mantras.
Mantras.
Next,
Tagaho Nasi Vaktanya Vahanti Balimishitu. As a cow bound through the nose by a long rope,
हो गया ना?
as a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his Yatha Kridopaskaranam Sanyoga Vigama Viha Ichaya Kriditu Syatam Tathaive Nradam. As a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will, so the supreme will of the Lord brings men together and separates them.
Okay, this is common, right? You read other places also. How family come together by Krishna's arrangement and then go away. We should not be lamenting. Okay, you read the next verse and purport. I'll use washroom and come.
Yanmanyase dhruvam lokam adhruvam vanachobhayam sarvatha nahi sochyaste snedanyatra mohajat. Translation. O king, in all circumstances, whether you consider the soul to be an eternal principle, or the material body to be perishable, or everything to exist in the impersonal absolute truth, or everything to be an inexplicable combination of matter and spirit, feelings of separation are due only to illusory affection and nothing more. Purport. The actual fact is that every living being is an individual part and parcel of the Supreme Being, and his constitutional position is subordinate cooperative service, either in his conditional material existence or in his liberated position of full knowledge and eternity. The living entity is eternally under the control of the Supreme Lord. But those who are not conversant with factual knowledge put forward many speculative propositions about the real position of the living entity. It is admitted, however, by all schools of philosophy that the living being is eternal and the covering of the body of the five material elements is perishable and temporary. The eternal living entity transmigrates from one material body to another by the law of karma, and material bodies are perishable by their fundamental structures. Therefore, there is nothing to be lamented in the case of the souls being transferred into another body or the material bodies perishing at a certain stage. There are others also who believe in the merging of the spirit soul in the Supreme Spirit when it is uncovered by the material engagement. And there are others also who do not believe in the existence of a spirit or soul, but believe in tangible matter. In our daily experience, we find so many transformations of matter from one form to another, but we do not lament such changing features. In either of the above cases, the force of divine energy is uncheckable. No one has any hand in it, and thus there is no cause of grief. Tasmad jahi ang vaiklavyam ajnana kritamatmana.
Yes. Therefore, give up your anxiety due to ignorance of the self. You are now thinking of how they, who are helpless, poor creatures, will exist without you. When we think of our kith and kin as being helpless and dependent on us, it is all due to ignorance. Every living creature is allowed all protection by the order of the Supreme Lord in terms of each one's acquired position in the world. The Lord is known as Bhutabhrit, one who gives protection to all living beings. One should discharge his duties only, for no one but the Supreme Lord can give protection to anyone else. This is explained more clearly in the following verse.
Hmm. Very nice. Go ahead next. Yeah. Oh, 44 you did, huh? Okay.
So in the 44, it's mentioned that basically it's only because of illusory affection that one feels lamentation. So whether you consider the self to be soul or body or neither or both, it's mentioned. So how, like, if we understand the self to be soul, then why we will lament?
Soul doesn't die. Nothing happens to the soul.
Correct.
There's nothing to lament. If you think you're a body, anyway it's going to die. Nothing to lament. If you think you're neither matter nor spirit, what is there to lament? If you think you are both, what is there to lament? It's illusion. It's illusory affection. It's my king, my uncle, my father, my son. Nothing to lament. Lament is only because of my. Like the bubble of water. My bubble. What is to lament? Bubble is going to be, whether you bubble you consider permanent object or temporary object. Nothing to lament. Bubble is going to be finished. It's just air. Right? Okay. Next. Lamentation is a fault in the conditioned soul. To lament for anything is a fault. If there's a loss in life, it is for spiritual growth. Like, are you lamenting on the toys you lost after joining ISKCON or after growing up? The toys you are so attached, you will not share with your friends or brother or sister. And you every day keep them in the cupboard drawer. Now, where is the lamentation for the toys? No, because there's no attachment. It will be foolishness to lament for the toys. But in childhood, if the toy is lost or broken, there's so much cry. Now, in front of us, some child cries for a lost toy. We'll say, "Bachcha hai, pagal hai. Why you're crying?" We did the same thing. That was okay. Now somebody else does. We think it's not okay. Now we cry for mobile. It's another toy. Samsung or Apple or Nokia. Another toy. It's a toy only, na? So somebody cries for body. It's a toy only. Every life you get different body. So it's all useless. A soul who is realized, he doesn't cry for all this. Why to cry for a bubble which is going to be one day finished? When you fill water, there are bubbles. And they pop up. And you start crying, "Oh God, my bubble went away. I had 39 bubbles in my glass. Only 2 remain. Oh God." You don't cry for a bubble. It doesn't exist. So all this material attachment, my, it doesn't exist. We are given it so serious consideration. My dhoti, my kurta, my office, my room, my car, my disciple, my counselee, my project, my mobile, my money. It's all my. It has no value. Not at all. So better come out of it. Otherwise it's going to give us trouble. Okay?
But then we do feel separation when we consider other person as a soul. Like, in the sense we are unable to associate with him. So how to see in this context?
Because that's illusion. No, two souls have no relationships. It's an illusory relationship. You don't know that he is a soul. You are relating to the.
Mentions that whether you consider the self to be the soul.
So that means that if you think each one of us is a soul, there is nothing to lament because soul doesn't die. Nothing happens to the soul.
But still that association is missing.
That's just material. If you are having affection for some other devotee or person, what you remember of that? Do you remember the soul? No, you didn't even come in contact with the soul. You came in contact with the body and the mind and the intelligence and the speech and the talent and the skills. Right? We never come in contact with the soul in the material world. We only come in contact, two bodies come in contact through their senses. It's just a sense perception. You don't even know whom you are missing. We just say he is soul, I is soul. But apart from that, we don't even know the soul. So whom are we missing? We don't even know that person. And if you actually know he is a soul, you will never lament. Dhira satra na muyate. Arjuna was lamenting, and Krishna said, number one. A Dhira person doesn't lament. Bhishma Pitama will die, Dronacharya will die. Krishna says, no, they will not die. If you think they are soul, they will not die. If you think they are body, they are anyway perishable. Right? So lamentation is based on illusory affections. There's the whole story of Yamaraj coming as a small boy to the wives of the king who died on the battlefield. Read that chapter, very nice. No use of lamentation. Okay? We go next.
In the case of Sanjay, you were trying to defend, and you said that we are not stone and we have emotion.
Yeah, you have it. But you don't change your status and your duty. Crying is natural, but here, philosophical wise, not required.
But that is also bodily concept.
Yes, bodily concept only. So I am saying that we are not stones, like Arjuna cried for Abhimanyu. So we don't have to become stones. But we should also understand, even after that, we have to, next day, Arjuna was ready for the war. Even after that, we have to continue our duties. Both is true. We should not lament, but there is natural emotions and affections because we are not on a level where this will not affect us. As I told, many statements of Bhagavatam are at different levels. So same Arjuna would give the lecture of not lamenting to somebody who is crying. But he himself will cry and so he will hear the same lecture. So when your near and dear one dies and you cry, that's fine. And your friend's near and dear one dies and you explain to him, don't cry, that is also fine. So that is how our grief gets expressed and cleared from our heart. So self-realized person can have pain. But when you have to explain him, don't have pain, don't have lamentation. That's why Narad Muni is required to come to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Even though Yudhishthira Maharaj himself knows this philosophy and he is a Mahajan. That somebody comes as a neutral person and explains us the philosophy, we get consoled. So we are not discussing a right and wrong. We are discussing different stages and different statements which both are correct and are applicable in different circumstances to different devotees. Yes, Sundar Chaitanya.
When the separation is there from devotees, they will not be pure devotees, like say equals are there or something like that, and then in their separation that separation which we have, neither he is on soul platform, neither we are on soul platform, but remembering his some good qualities and his help, gratefulness and things like that. So that lamentation is spiritual, or that is like...
See, as I told, we are not stones. Nothing wrong about it. But this knowledge helps us to eventually overcome it. We have to keep it temporary. Or we have to use it for our spiritual growth.
My, like, I just wanted to.
Yeah, lamentation is okay.
Lamentation is okay, but that lamentation is favorable or unfavorable for Krishna consciousness?
Favorable. But if that lamentation is making us weaker in our sadhana, not favorable. Then it's too much attachment. But it's favorable. That should help us to undergo a transformation and become more serious in bhakti. That my friend, he was so nice devotee, he left me, and anytime death can come, so I should become more serious. So we have example of Narottam Das Thakur asking association of Ramchandra Kaviraj. They were friends and they were nice association. Right? So when there are different aspects of philosophy applicable to different individuals and different circumstances, it's not that one is right and another is wrong. It is that how it helps us to grow spiritually. So Arjuna crying for Abhimanyu is fine because he is not a stone. But next day is ready for the duty because he is servant of Krishna. I should serve Krishna. Not that because Abhimanyu died, so I stop serving Krishna. Or I don't go for war. He is ready to serve Krishna. Okay? So developing emotions with Krishna in the center of our life is fine. Clear? Next. 45th you read?
Yeah. 46 we had.
So So Narad Muni is now see Yudhishthira Maharaj may say, yeah, everything depends on Krishna, I agree. And Krishna sanctioned we coming together and we going away. That also I agree. But still I am concerned. That old blind person, how will he eat and how will he feed himself? How will he take bath? Who will help him? I agree, Krishna arranged everything, but this concern of mine is there. He was dependent on me. So that Narad Muni is saying, no, even that is wrong. He is dependent on Krishna. You thinking he is dependent on you is wrong. Krishna is maintainer of everybody. Just as Bharat Maharaj. When Bharat Maharaj protected the baby deer, when the mother deer died, and he took the baby deer from waters and came on the shore, he did good job. But now we thought, if I leave the deer here, who will maintain the deer? Who will feed the deer? There are lakhs of deers in the same forest whom Bharat Maharaj is not feeding. And is not worried about them. And the lakhs of deers in the forest who every day get killed by lions and wolves and jackals, and Bharat Maharaj is not worried about them, but is worried about this, my deer. So who is protecting this deer? The same person who is protecting other lakhs of deers. Who? Krishna. But he is thinking, lakhs of deers Krishna is protecting, but this is my boy. This I have to protect. If today I go to ashram and leave this deer here, the lion will kill him again. So what is the use of me bringing him from the water? He will get killed anyway. And he became attached to the deer. The deer became so dear. Right? So this that I am maintainer. Because of me, my wife is eating. Because of me, my child are eating. If I am not there, who will feed them? You are directly competing with Krishna. You are not the maintainer. You are not the proprietor. You are not the master. You are not the enjoyer. After mother dies, children are still alive. There are so many examples where mother dies after delivering babies, but the children are alive. There are so many examples where parents die when the child is young and the child is still alive. So definitely Krishna has made arrangement for parents as a duty to take care of the child, but if parents are absent, Krishna makes sure the world continues. So if Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking that, okay, I agree, Krishna arranged everything, he only brought us together and one day they will get separated, but now old blind people, how will they feed themselves? They were dependent on me. So this verse, But don't worry. You think they cannot exist without you? That's not true. Krishna will take care of them. Okay?
That will result in an irresponsible behavior on my part.
So I am just an ATM machine. Krishna is taking care of them. They are withdrawing the care through me.
Correct.
That's okay. But thinking they cannot exist without this ATM machine, why there are hundreds ATM machines? There are thousands ATM machines. There are lakhs of ATM machines. There's money in the air. Krishna is Paramatma in their heart. So I am just an instrument of Krishna. Krishna has chosen me, so I should not become proprietor of this service. That without me this is not going to happen. That's fine. Is that okay? Yes. No. Mic. Okay, done?
Same thing. Modern world people think that giving up parents, or whatever cheating part you said, it is not a license. So, for higher cause we say this, but the same parent, society, they demand you are taking the benefits of society, funds. You also should do something for the society. So here we see it is a Krishna who is maintaining whole society. But when we give up such minor social activities, somebody is, I have to go for urgent some class. In front of me, some accident happened. So if we don't see to it, and in terms of having Krishna consciousness activities ahead, so society will see in a different way. This guy thinking of Krishna, not doing responsibility, basic social responsibility.
So how many times this has happened? You have urgent class and accident is about?
No, just a.
So the day it happens, you take care of the accident. But that's going to happen once in your lifetime.
That is just an example, not.
Yeah, so I am just responding to the example.
Please respond to the issue, which is.
No class is urgent. Just give a call to Sundar Chaitanya. We go and give the class.
Social responsibility.
No, we don't have social responsibility. We are serving Krishna. He is the root of the tree. And that is taking care of the plants, the tree, the leaves. So you tell the same people, do you feel nice when you come to the temple? Yes, so we are serving you by maintaining the temple. If we are not there in the temple, how this temple will be maintained? In terms of service. Right? So we are doing social responsibility by having a temple, and lakhs of people are getting benefit by this. Coming and having darshan and kirtan and samosa. Is this not service to Mumbai? Especially when Juhu Beach is closed nowadays. So people are coming to Juhu Beach, they see the closed door, they come to temple. Otherwise, where they'll go? They sit on the road. So we are doing greatest service by taking care of body, mind and soul. Right? Accident you will save a person so that he continues living. But are you going to save the same person when he's about to become a dog? That ISKCON is taking care, making sure he will not become a dog next life. He'll become a human next life. Are you making sure he will not have cycle of birth and death? That ISKCON is taking care, making sure he goes back home, back to Godhead. We are doing much greater service beyond body. So don't feel yourself doing something low value in the society or not doing. We are doing much, much more than any other person or any other organization by taking care of the soul. What is the meaning of taking care of body? Is anyway dead. Right? So taking care of soul is much higher. So we should be convinced about this and we should explain to that person that how we are taking care of the soul.
Because they are not on the platform of soul. No matter how much we try, they need basic bodily maintenance.
So we are giving prasad also. Tell them come inside and stay in the temple, you will be fed. That too nice, 2 sabjis in the morning, 2 sabjis in the evening, sweet rice. But most people, if you explain them, they will understand. That's how your preaching should be strong. Or bring to me. Should have strong preaching. Dekhte hain kya bolta hai. Right? We are taking care of soul. That's much higher than taking care of the body. Right? So we should be able to explain ourselves. If you are convinced, you convince others. Don't get confused yourself. So we should explain others. Read and preach strongly. Tell them, make them understand why you have joined, why this ISKCON society exists, why lakhs of people are coming and how they are getting benefit. Right? We're not fools here. We're from IIT and NIT. Tell them they're not fools here. So we should explain to people, we should convince them. We should put strong arguments. That ISKCON is taking care of the soul. Right? Okay? Yes, Govind Kumar.
Prabhuji, in this 45th shloka, when Narad Muni is telling that, thinking that they are poor and helpless, that they will exist without you, this is, give up this anxiety. So, because Dhritarashtra left and he is not to be found in the palace now, that's why Narad Muni is telling, now he has already left, now you need not think like that. Because he, in that case, Kunti Maharani, and they are also in that same age group. So he's not telling about Kunti Maharani now, give up, Kunti Maharani also. You did not take care of her because she is present. So she need to be taken care. But because now Dhritarashtra has left home, now need not worry about him. So it is situational instruction.
No. He's not telling give up care. He's telling give up the attitude that you are carrying. You
for
care.
Dhritarashtra now.
Both. You care. You continue to care. But the attitude that without me it will not happen, that you give up. So this is talking about the attitude. Now you are not physically present in front of them, so you don't extend yourself. See that the argument, Yudhishthira's argument will continue further. Now Yudhishthira is going to ask, where are they? I will go and take care. Then he tell them, don't disturb them, don't go. So the argument will continue further. Like what an ordinary thing person will do. Tell me where are they? I will go and take care. So he's going to say, don't go, because in 5 days he's going to leave the body. He said, okay, I'll go and bring the body here. He said, no, he will burn in his own fire. He said, is it? Then let me bring Gandhari here. How she will survive alone in the forest? He said, no, she will also commit sati and Vidura will go away. So you keep quiet. So that's going to happen now. Okay? Next.
काल कर्म गुणाधीनो वयं पंचभव कृतम अन्यम स्तु गोपये सर्पग्रस्तो यथा परम. Translation: This gross material body made of 5 elements is already under the control of eternal time, Kal, action, karma, and the modes of material nature, guna. How then can it, being already in the jaws of the serpent, protect others?
So Yudhishthira, Narad Muni is now giving an ordinary person who is going to die, how can he save others from death? So that's what he's saying. That already Kala is there and Karma is there. You are under it. Everybody is under it. So when you cannot overcome Kala and Karma in your life, how you can help others to overcome Kala and Karma? So as a person advances in Krishna consciousness, he realizes that he can't help others. So he stops helping others. If you are advanced in chanting, you will stop helping others. Because you realize you cannot help others. Is that okay? No? Okay, let me continue. So this is true. As we advance, we realize I can't help others because I myself fallen. So I stop helping others. But I know Krishna can help others. So I tell them to depend on Krishna. So real preaching means you encourage devotees whom you are preaching to depend on Krishna, not on you. International Society for not Prabhuji consciousness. Don't become a hero in somebody's life. Krishna is hero in everybody's life. Don't replace him for somebody. Don't worry, I am there. कुछ हो गया तो मुझे phone करना. I will take care. I'll solve all your problems. No. No. Don't worry, Krishna is there. He will take care of you. Just depend on him. Yes. So don't compete with Krishna in somebody's life. Don't become hero in somebody's life. Don't make a relationship of dependence in such a way that if you have to go to bathroom, you call me. I'll say yes, then you go to bathroom. No. International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Just like you have grown up and now you're trying to be independent, thoughtful. So everybody should be like that. Yeah, there is a relationship and there is a dependence for guidance. Nothing wrong about it. But it should not be a relationship where your spiritual growth is becoming weak and you are making Prabhuji consciousness. That's not a preacher. That's a cheater. That's not a humble servant of Krishna. That is a competitor of Krishna. So never try to become hero in somebody's life. Never try to solve somebody's problem in such a way that they think you are great. They should think Krishna is great. Krishna consciousness. Because of Krishna this happened. Okay? Yes, Aditya Ram Prabhu.
Prabhuji, some devotees tell that there must be some role model in your life. Some senior brahmachari should be a role model so that you can be like him. So, not Prabhupada, other than Prabhupada. So, what should be the understanding?
No, we can have inspiration from various devotees. And that's okay to have a role model. But we all are individuals. We don't have to compare ourselves with others. That he is my role model, I have to be like him. Okay, I get inspired by this devotee, that's fine. But not imitation. I get inspired to become a better individual, a better devotee than yesterday. Right? Not be equal to that person. That's not. We all are individuals. So if Aditya Ram is role model, so I want to become one more Aditya Ram. No. I want to become a good Gokuleshwar Das, being inspired from Aditya Ram. Right? So that's okay. Why you want to become one more Aditya Ram? There's one in the world sufficient. I mean, Krishna made everybody individual, so that's okay. Not about you, I'm just giving an example. Right? Yeah, become one more inspiring brahmachari. An individual. So remain individual. There are so many devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they all got inspired from each other. But nobody, Sanatana Goswami never thought, I'll become Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur never thought, I want to become Ramanand Rai. Ramanand Rai never said, I want to become Sarup Damodar. Sarvam Bhattacharya never said, I want to become Rupa Goswami. They all are individuals. They all performed their service and contributed in a different way. And Chaitanya was pleased with all of them. But they got inspiration from each other. Right? And what is wrong having Prabhupada as a role model? He is supposed to be preeminent Shiksha Guru of every member in ISKCON, founder Acharya. What is wrong in that? Right? Somebody may be at such a stage of devotional service where he has certain bitter experiences, he's not getting inspired from anybody but getting inspired from Prabhupada. That's fine. Nothing wrong in that. In fact, one disciple wrote to Prabhupada and Prabhupada said, if you're not inspired by your God brothers, just be with me. That's possible. ISKCON should have space for everybody. Right? Minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on beats and 4 regulatory principles. This is the vow we took in ISKCON when we took initiation. And for Brahmachari's morning program, Guru Puja class. Right? Don't add anything more. Everything else is optional. Don't add. Don't add new criteria which Prabhupada didn't give. If you want to add new criteria, start your own ISKCON. I mean your own organization. Prabhupada's organization, Prabhupada's criteria. No new iCards. No new criteria. Right? So that's optional. Okay? Yes. Akshobhya.
Prabhu, sometimes like for a new person who don't have any much idea about who God is and Krishna and these things, and but has basic interest in spirituality and understanding it. So for him to, because it is easy to depend upon a person, to trust a person rather than an organization, because if there is a person, we can trust him more. So to encourage him to depend upon us so that we can explain him and connect him to what is ultimately good and Krishna, and make him explain that. So is it good, Prabhu, if we encourage him, okay, you keep on coming, you depend on, I will explain you like that.
Encourage him, depend on you means what?
Depend on me means like rather than, searching out, let's say, for an example, various other options on internet, and if you come here, you talk to us, then we can guide you like that. If that way we are encouraging dependence upon us for his knowledge, so what is bad in
I
that?
didn't understand. How is this dependence on us?
For his guidance in his
You are
spiritual
telling
life.
them this is good place to get educated.
Good place, yeah, I mean, not just place, but like let's say he is receiving knowledge from various places, not just in ISKCON various places but outside also. Then we are encouraging ki you depend on me rather than depending, because if we tell them ki if you depend on ISKCON, that might be difficult for them than depending on a person in ISKCON. So that's why we are saying that you depend upon me. So is it bad?
Depend on me for answers.
For answers, for guidance, rather than...
Yeah, we introduce books to them. We say, this is the books I read, and you also read these books. And if you don't understand anything, I am happy to answer you. But see, the problem in your statement is if he asks somebody else, you will be offended. Hey, why did you ask him? I told you ask me.
I mean, outside ISKCON and other parts
He still has
like that.
freedom. We have to educate him. He has to go to right source. That's okay. But if he uses his freedom and you are offended by that, then there's unhealthy dependence. Right? Don't become owner of a boy just because he came in contact with you. That you cannot go to anybody else. You have to depend on me only. I am the only savior. Masiha. Right? Yeah, we encourage them to take education from proper source. And so that they don't get confused. They can have one mentor. I can understand that. But inside us, there should not be a bhav of ownership. So if what statement you are making is coming out of ownership and lack of freedom, that's not good. Don't create a cage. He is not a bird, pet bird. That is now my dog, and put a chain on him and put a label on him. No. Give education, share the books with them, and let them use their independence and intelligence so they are more convinced, and be available to them. right? So it should not be based on ownership and reducing freedom. The difference between guiding and interfering. The difference between preaching and ownership. The difference between working and becoming attached to the result or owning the result. Like the laborer, he worked hard on the house and he's becoming attached that this is my house because I have worked hard. So that's ownership. That should not happen. That I own the boy.
So for any service or something like that, if you have an ownership attitude, so Prabhuji, it can also happen that that may enhance the service.
Who owns you?
Krishna.
Or somebody else owns you, wouldn't it enhance your service?
I mean, not just a person, but I'm saying service or some resource is there, and through our material conditioning.
If
if
somebody
we,
owns you, would it enhance your service?
No.
But just now you said if you own somebody, it will enhance his service.
Not his, but
Okay, for him, not for you.
yeah.
For him it's okay, for you it's not okay. If you own a boy, it will enhance his service, but somebody owns you, it will not enhance your service. You see, there is a mismatch. So, there can be an organizational setup where a boy reports to only one authority so that it enhances the performance. But there should not be ownership. There should not be ownership. And there should be freedom to grow. You see the difference? A devotee can grow in sadhu sangha. But he doesn't want just sadhu sangha, he wants space to grow also. We give this example, fish should be inside water. If fish is outside water, the fish cannot grow. So devotee should be in sadhu sangha, right? So if I put a fish in the spoon of water, will the fish grow? Why?
You're limiting the.
There is no sufficient water. So if I take a 1 kilometer long test tube full of water, 50 liters, and put a fish, will the fish grow in that test tube? Sharad, water is sufficient, 50 liters. But there is no space. So there has to be space to grow. So when there is ownership and lack of freedom, there is no space to grow. Space means freedom to grow. And there are restrictions to protect. The restriction should be to protect a devotee, not because I am the owner, that's why I am restricting. There's a difference. Right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So what you are saying, nothing wrong about it, but you have to just have a change of attitude. That is not ownership, it's not taking away freedom, it is protecting and helping others to grow. And don't do things to others what you would not like your seniors to do with you. Simple measurement. Right? You want freedom to grow, others also want freedom to grow. You don't want freedom to explore and meet other preachers, others also want freedom to explore and meet other preachers.
So what is the difference, Prabhu, basic difference between this scenario that we have discussed right now, and let's say a scenario where suppose I am given a task, or let's say design a painting or something like that, and I have a strong feeling of ownership in that service, that this is my service, this is what I have to do, and then someone else starts to contribute in that, where I have some vision of, I want to design a painting in this way and that way. So what is the difference between?
So if the goal is I have to perform, and if the goal is Krishna should be pleased, the attitude will shift. If Krishna is pleased by two people's contribution, then I should welcome that. But if Krishna is in the center and I am in the center, there is a difference. Oh, I have to do it. उस लड़के से शादी करेगा तो मैं करेगा, नहीं तो वो कुमारी रहेगी. That is me. That is not welfare of the girl. That's me. Welfare of the girl means she should get a good husband, whether it's me or somebody else. You see the difference? So this is attachment, my girl. Either I'll marry or kill her. So she should not marry somebody else. So this is not love. This is not about the girl. So either I'll do service or nobody else will do service. So this is not about Krishna. This is about me. So you're keeping yourself in the center. So that's not International Society for Krishna Consciousness. That is millions of small ISKCONs. International Society of me consciousness. I am the center. Krishna should be in the center. So Radharani sees Krishna is attracted to some gopi. She doesn't steal the jewelry of that gopi. She gives her jewelry to the gopi. You wear these jewels, Krishna likes it, and you go and serve him in the kunja. So joining a devotee to Krishna is a bigger service than me going and joining with Krishna. That's preaching. So we are followers of Rupanugas, Goswamis, Prabhupada. They joined everybody in the service of Krishna. Not that I should serve Krishna and others should not serve. Other, if they want to serve Krishna, they have to go through me only. You don't ask or communicate. I will ask Krishna what we'll eat today. Then I'll tell you, then you cook. Then you don't take the plate. I will take the plate. Then I'll bring it out. You be away. That's not our society. Our society, millions of people come and talk to Krishna, ask him what he wants and serve him. And I'll be at the behind taking care of your shoes. Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about Namata and it gives a whole elaborate organization. And what is his role in that? The CEO or the temple president or the GBC or the chairman of the Namata? No, he says at the end of the program I will broom the place, marketplace. So that's our attitude. Not me. I, me, my, mine. As soon as possible you throw it in the dustbin, you'll be a happy person. And more than that, others around you will be happy. Second canto, the first thing Sukdev Goswami says, Parikshit Maharaj, is I, me, my, mine, throw it out. That's where Bhagavatam starts. Sukdev Parikshit conversation. So you have to give it up. There's no my business here. My boy, my money, my project, my department, my brahmachari, my disciple, my counselee. We have to give it up. We can use it in a language for the purpose of organization. But inside we should not have any ownership.
Yes, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, on one hand, you talked about, how the attitude should be, to engage others and make them connect to Krishna. Not that through me you have to go. But one thing also we have to see that is the quality that is the service, the quality of service that is rendered to Krishna should also not be compromised. Is it also should be a concern?
Yeah, so there are training. You train a boy or you train the boy, but not train my boy. So there is training. But while after training, I am the owner, that's what I am talking about. So if somebody has to cook for Krishna, he has to be trained how to be a cook. Right? But there is no ownership. So quality should not reduce. Training should be there. But not ownership and interference. Okay? Time up? Sorry? Yeah, Chaitanya Jivan Prabhu.
Here in spiritual world, all Manjaris are serving Lalita Vishakha, and through them the service is rooted. That was only. So how we understand that? Like
Yeah, that is not because of ownership or because of restriction. That is the allotted service. And if you hear this normally, then you should also hear normally that at night the Sakhis don't serve, only Manjaris serve in the Kunja. You know that? Right? So it's opposite to what you are saying. So Manjaris also directly serve at night. The Sakhis are sleeping in their Kunja at night. Only Manjaris are serving. So they are also getting, right? So one should not bypass the authority. We are not talking about that. We are talking about authority. Then he should not think I am the owner. So if you are authority, you should not think I am the owner. If you are not authority, you should not bypass your authority. Right? So we are talking the other side of the fence. Yes, Sharad.
Yes, recently I was fortunate to be in Mayapur, so I was reading this Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. So there this pastime comes about Krishna was once doing his pastime with Virja, and then Radharani, when she got to know, she comes on that spot, and then Virja becomes river, and then Krishna disappears from that place, and that's how Radharani searches Krishna, but he doesn't find. She doesn't find Krishna there. So then that's how she creates this Navadvip Dham. So that's a mention about that. So as you are talking about Radharani trying to give jewelries to gopis, that you wear this, how you can attract Krishna more. But then there is also this concept about how each gopis wanted Krishna to be with them only, and so that like Krishna will be them, and then they can reciprocate more services to Krishna. So there is a competition there also, that how like I want to serve Krishna, I'll not try somehow. It's a transcendental competition, but how to understand that then, as you are explaining?
Well, what you are saying has nothing to do with what you are discussing. But I will explain that. Okay? So our ownerships and proprietorship has nothing to do with that kind of ownership and proprietorships. So Radharani and Krishna have a relationship in which they give pleasure to each other. And the pleasure happens when there are two opposites. So if Krishna is seeing Radharani is easily available, Krishna makes himself difficult to available. And that's how there is adventure. If they both make themselves easily available to each other, then there is no adventure. So there is no parakiya bhav. It's easy, right? You getting me that point? So to introduce variety, Radharani sometimes gets angry when Krishna meets a gopi, and other times pushes a gopi whom Krishna likes. This is to increase the taste of parakiya. So suppose you have Mahaprasad, and I come to snatch from you, and you give me happily, my whole rasa to snatch and enjoy Mahaprasad will go away. But if you run away and I chase you for Mahaprasad, we both will enjoy it. That chase. Right? Yeah. You getting me? You know this, suppose, these two boys, they panja ladate. Suppose somebody comes and I agree with it. Will he enjoy the win? Not at all. Right? Your team playing football with my team, I take the ball and put 101 goals in your name. Will you enjoy the game? If I restrict and you still try to put it, then you will enjoy the game. So Radharani and Krishna enjoy each other's company by being opposite to each other. So if Krishna wants a gopi and Radharani restricts, Krishna enjoys because he has to snatch the gopi. Krishna doesn't want and she pushes. Right? So that's a very different realm. It has nothing to do with this ownership and proprietorship on conditional platform. So in that realm, whatever Radharani does, Krishna is pleased. That's not our situation. Whatever we do, Radha Rasberi will be pleased. It's opposite. right? So in that situation, there is no logic, no law, no rule. The only thing is that whatever Radharani does is okay. If you imitate Radharani, it is not okay. If Radharani does completely opposite next day, that is also fine, because Krishna enjoys that. So Radharani at night somehow escapes the house, dresses her perfectly with nice ornaments, everything for Krishna with nice flower garlands, and carries laddus and goes to the kunja, and now she is shy. I will not open my gungat. Krishna says, "Ai kyun phir itna dur?" No, that shyness restricts her to open the gungat, and Krishna has to put extra effort and force to convince her to open the gungat. They both enjoy that. If she comes, then there will be no enjoyment. So then they will pray, "My dear shy Sakhi, it is very difficult to obtain Krishna's association. So please leave my association so that I can eye to eye see Krishna." So the shy Sakhi would not like to leave Radharani's association, because who likes to leave Radharani's association? So there will be a whole pastime where somehow Radharani's shyness has to go out so that Krishna can see her space. And she can associate with Krishna without hesitation, because the shyness doesn't allow that hesitation. But if there is no shyness, there will be. If there is no nakra, then there will be no enjoyment in conjugal love. Right? So that creates rasa. And the more rasa, as Ras Bihari, he wants all the types of rasas. So he wants cooperation also and he wants non-cooperation also. So he enjoys both. So when some Rukmini Devi cooperates, he wants her to become angry. Right? So that he enjoys. So Ras Bihari wants all kind of rasas. So that's what Radharani does, because she knows what Krishna wants. So she may have contradictory behavior, but that's how she knows he will enjoy. But our ownership and proprietorship is conditional within the three modes, and that will not purify us.
So can we say that this is what Radha Rasbihari wants? Sometimes cooperation, sometimes non-cooperation. Rasa, like different rasas of different devotees.
Only in the altar, not in the ashram. Ashram, he wants peace. Ashram, he wants everybody to follow his instructions. This is not Siddha place. This is sadhana place. Sadhana is Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti is under the instructions of Guru. This is not Raganuga. This is not Bhava Bhakti. This is Vaidhi Bhakti. In Vaidhi Bhakti, rules are more important than the emotions and feelings of the Lord or the devotees. Not in Vaidhi. What you are saying is correct in Bhava Bhakti, not in Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti rules are more important.
I got such answers when I was trying to ask about some difference of opinions between senior leaders and all. So they say that this is Radha Rasbihari. He wants different tastes, rasas, mellows, the way how it happens in the spiritual world. So that's how, hence I'm asking.
So let us not do that from our side. Let us follow Vaidhi Bhakti from our side. We are sadhakas, right? Sadhakas follow Vaidhi Bhakti, the rules and regulations, the etiquette, the character, the behavior of a devotee. When in Bhava Bhakti you do that, but they do that with other Bhava devotees, not with other sadhana devotees. Then they will get disturbed. Right? So we are following Vaidhi Bhakti. Do we do that? Do the other, whatever other things you want to do, go back and do in the spiritual world. In Jew, you do what Vaidhi Bhakti we are taught about. It's like that. So we should not disturb other devotees. Okay? We will end here. It's about to be 2. Okay? Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the last chapter which we are going to discuss maybe today evening or tomorrow, I am planning a small exercise. You don't have to put extra time. It will be within the classroom only. No homework for that. But it will be helpful if you read the chapter and come. So today, if you have time, we'll do today. Otherwise, tomorrow. So just read the chapter and come. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we are ending late today. I am sorry for that. We will meet little late today. Is that okay? What time? 2:45? Okay, 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock. Okay, Hare Krishna.